Last night in the Madden Challenge Championship, Henry proved once again that he's the best Madden player in the world.
You're talking about the greatest to ever do it.
And in today's video, I'm going to show you guys the defense that he used to dominate the championship series on the way to winning his 8th belt.
Come here, come on. Come here, come here.
That almost was a D-line pick.
Defensively, John hasn't seen anybody like this shit.
So if you want to see what defense is being used by the best player in the world, stick around after the intro. If you guys are looking for fast, cheap, reliable MUT coins, check out my coin sponsors at MMOXP.com and use discount code MONEYSHOT for 6% off your order. Link in the description below.
The champ is here!
I'm going to start off on the very first series of the game, as Henry was using pretty much the same formation throughout the entire night. But before I do, as always, if you guys want to see more videos like this, breakdowns of Madden Challenge Championship players, offense and defense, I can always do more videos like that, as I typically try to put up my own stuff. But if you want to see that, make sure to be a subscriber, hit the like button, let me know in the comment section. And if you guys need more help or more tips, tricks, money plays, you name it, you can download any of my ebooks instantly simply by clicking links in the description or the top pinned comment. Now, I first want to mention how I was surprised by the fact that he was running a lot of man coverage, based on the fact that most Madden Challenge Championship players really run more zone. And I think the prevailing theory is that zone coverage is better than man coverage, and he does switch to zone coverage throughout the game. He wasn't obviously running man coverage the entire game, but you can see how tight the coverage is here, or how much closer the coverage is here when it comes to the receivers, as he tried to throw it to somebody there that really wasn't even open, as if that ball wouldn't have got tipped, he might have had a pick six on the second play of the game. As well as the simplistic approach of how he's using once he drops back here, as you can see that he's really just cutting off the routes over the middle of the field. He's not switch sticking all over the field like a lot of people do, as that's something that you'll see more often from people that run zone coverages, like we're seeing here from John Beast. As you can see, he's basically switch sticking all over the field, trying to control every angle, trying to cut off every route, while trying to manually put everybody in position all over the field to cover. And you can see on this play that it actually cost him a touchdown because he covered too shallow, where Henry doesn't have to do that because he can trust on the matching man principles to the point where the man coverage defenders are going to stick with their receivers, and he really doesn't want to jump all over the field, because if he did that, he would most likely create more space and more separation. So while a lot of players are trying to mimic the tight, close coverage that you get from man coverage in zone coverage, Henry's just having faith in man coverage itself. It also seems like he's most likely switch sticking with the D-pad rather than the right stick. As you can see on this play here, he switches over to this cornerback before the ball is thrown, meaning that he did it with the D-pad and not the circle button or the B button if you're on Xbox. And that's because when you're in zone coverage, switch sticking really only controls zone defenders. So if I want to switch stick here to this other linebacker, all I got to do is hit the right thumbstick to the right, or whatever direction I really want to go, and you can see how switch sticking will take me all across the field. As I'll try to do that again, this time I'll try to drop back to the safety. As you can see, I'm right over the top here, and that's something that you typically can only do in zone. But when it comes to man coverage, you don't have the ability to use the switch stick the same way. As I'm going to try to switch to the linebacker next to me here, and you can see that I basically just do like a hit stick attempt there, which obviously is not what I want to do. So if you're in man coverage and you're going to run this defense, you have to get used to using the D-pad instead. As you'll see this time, now I'm on the cornerback all the way across the field. When I hit the D-pad to the right, if I want to hit the D-pad up from the same look, I'll most likely end up on the safety here, but I'm not entirely sure, so wait for the play to start here. As you can see, I can immediately be the safety over the top. So if you're going to use this type of defense, if you're going to use man defense, you have to get used to essentially using the D-pad to switch stick, which is something that I've actually been using for a while, based off the fact that you can use the D-pad whether in man or zone, but you can't use the right stick whether in man or zone. In zone, you can only use the right stick. But if I'm in zone like right now, and I want to let this play start, I can use the D-pad and move around the field the exact same way that I can in man coverage. So to me, it's a more versatile tool, considering that you can use it in man or zone, but you can only use the right thumbstick switch stick when in zone coverage. Now, the defensive formation that Henry was using for the most part, and I'm going to be breaking down in this video, is the nickel wide formation.
Defensively, John hasn't seen anybody like this shit. Like, you don't see nobody.
He's been rolling out all day.
Now you playing against a different guy running nickel wide, a look you haven't seen before,
which I'm assuming that he used out of the Chicago Bears playbook, considering that he was using the Bears jerseys. And anybody that plays Ultimate Team knows that typically when you have a team chemistry, you want to get to the point where you can basically get the maximum amount of advantage out of it. So most people will use the jerseys, and the playbook's the same, and the nickel wide just happens to be in the Bears defensive playbook. Now, he was using a couple of different plays, mixing in between man and zone, and I'm not really going to go over the zone coverages that he was using, because typically when Madden Challenge Championship players use zone, they make so many adjustments that it's really hard to tell what exactly they're doing. But he was also using a very basic setup and a very simple play called the Overstorm Brave, which should sound very familiar to people that play Madden or have played Madden for several years, based on the fact that the Overstorm Brave, through other formations, has been one of the meta defenses and one of the meta blitzes for a very long time. And he used a very simple setup with this play that allowed him to get pressure and very good coverage very early on throughout the entire game. Now, the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go to our coaching adjustments so that we can mirror essentially what looks like his coverage shell, which the only adjustment that he's really making that I can tell that is going to be essential to the coverage aspect is setting his safety depth too close, which is a very popular thing for people to do. Is this will put the safeties about 8 yards off the line of scrimmage, which is typical of what the starting cornerbacks are going to be doing anyway, considering that when you come out in a cover zero, that you're going to see that a lot of times your cornerbacks are about 8 yards off. So this is going to give you basically the same starting depth for everybody at every position. So when you have guys like this covering the running back, or when you have guys like this covering the tight end, they're not going to be in a position where they're too close, so they're going to get burnt in coverage, and they're going to give you adequate coverage across the board. He also appeared to be doing a common trick that MCS players do, where they put safeties at the linebacker positions by hitting wide triangle to bring up manual substitutions, and then putting backup safeties or additional safeties into these spots. As you can see in this picture here, he's using Matthew, which is somebody, the Honey Badger, which is obviously a safety, not a linebacker. So at whatever game mode you play, you're going to get better coverage, and a lot of times you'll have faster guys blitzing if you put higher speed, safeties rather than linebackers in these spots. But I'm going to pick that play again, and I'm going to specifically pick a play on offense out of the bunch offset close, because I think this is what the formation was that John Beast was using, or something very similar. And he was also sending out 5 receivers, meaning that he didn't have a blocking tight end or a blocking running back on most plays. So we're just going to pick a random play, because I'm not controlling the offense. So we're just going to pick a random play that has the running back going out of pattern, and this play is going to be the mesh rebound. So let's go and let's pick that. As far as the setup goes, I noticed that a lot of the times he was sending the blitzing linebacker that was behind or on the same side of the running back, but he wasn't always doing that, so that's not necessarily 100% needed, but it was part of one of the more successful setups I'm going to show you guys from the actual gameplay. So the first thing that I think that he was doing, and obviously I don't know for sure, but I've had success doing this, was he was spreading the defensive line, which is D-pad to the left and up, and then he was also showing blitz when it comes to linebackers, which is D-pad to the right, and then RBR1, and that brings the linebackers down like this. And then, like I said, he could really blitz either linebacker, but I noticed in the first series, and it almost looked like a bit of a tell, that he was always blitzing the one that was over the running back, which, might have been a better option or a better angle, but all he was really doing was bringing the other blitzing linebacker down. And I'm guessing he might have been guessing pass from time to time so that the blitzer would go straight after the quarterback, which is RBR1 and up on the right stick. But he would just basically come down right over the center here. And a lot of times he would press and release off the center to the point where the blitzing linebacker would just get in right away. A lot of times also when the blitz was coming from the other side, defensive ends would get in right away. But we'll just go ahead and run this one time just to show you guys what this looks like. Is that if I press that guy and release, as there is a button to release, but I obviously, I didn't get off the block as well there as he typically did. If you see, he just gets an instant A gap because he occupies the center, and then the tackle and the guard are occupied by the edge and the defensive tackle, and that's why this guy just comes straight down the pipe here for a very easy A-gap pressure. Now, the reason that he got off the center a lot easier there than I did, as I'm going to go ahead and flip this play, is because he used the function for that. If you're on Xbox or PlayStation, if you're on Xbox, you got to hit A and up on the left stick to disengage. And if you're on PlayStation, you got to hit X and up on the left stick to disengage. So this time I'm going to engage, and then I'm going to time that, and you can see, boom, I'm right off into coverage. Now, obviously, the quarterback did a quick throw there, but you can see with this function that a lot of people don't even know is in the game, that I don't get stuck on the block that time. I just press and release, and maybe I had to hold it a little bit longer. As you see, the blitz angle was a little bit different this time. Maybe that's why he does it over the running back more often than not. But you can see how I can get off of that right away and just get right back into coverage, which is something that he was using on just about every play when he sent this blitz. Now, like I said, you don't necessarily have to send the guy on the side of the running back itself, as I noticed that a lot of times he was doing it the other way. But like I said, it was a bit of a tell, but we'll see what happens here if I switch that and I have it coming from the opposite side of the running back. This may have been the look where a lot of times the pressure, I mean, you can see the pressure comes down the pipe the same way, but a lot of times whenever it was getting picked up, you were seeing pressure coming from the defensive ends as well. So I'm gonna end the video there, but if you guys want to see more Madden tip videos, I'll have that pop up on screen, so just click links. And until next time, thanks for watching, man. My shit out. Need more help or just want to show your support? Then head over to my Patreon and join my team, where you can get exclusive content like ebooks and bonus plays, as well as early access to my vids and more. Link in the description below.